Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Pod on Lansdowne is thrilled to welcome on. You've heard him be called many nicknames in years past. The Saugus Rocket, the self-proclaimed tribal chief of baseball. It used to be of baseball Twitter. Now it's just baseball, straight on, which is a bigger title. Folks, it's Jared Carrabis. Long time coming getting you onto the show, Jared. He's actually here in the flesh.
I said before we started, I was like, all you have to do is ask. Like, I feel like I was sitting here because I saw you guys. And what I was going to say before we started, there was something I was going to say, and I was like, you know what? I'll save it until we're recording. But I use you guys as an example of like anytime that someone's like, I want to start a podcast. Like, how do I do it? Like, how do I get noticed? And I was like, this podcast right here is how you do it, because you take three dudes that clearly watch every single game, or girls, watch every single game.
It's 2023.
And you got 2023. And you also, like, you all had like Red Sox presence on Twitter. Like, you weren't just like, hey, so I got my buddy and I called him up and like he knows the Sox, so like he's gonna be on the podcast. It's like, all right, cool, but how many followers do you have? He's not on Twitter. All right, well, that doesn't help us. Like, you guys like had Twitter followings. You've been in the Red Sox Twitter streets, to me, over 10 years. Like, at this point, like I feel like at some point I've come across you guys at least 10 years for each one of you.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I was probably started following you along around that time. I don't know if it was for the 13 run, but definitely those dog shit 14 and 15 years. We were there in the trenches. You being on Pablo Watch, things of that nature. You know what I mean? That was like really the first time I remember you being like, oh, like Carrabis is making waves here now. And again, he's in the trenches with us on Red Sox Twitter, naming random dudes just like the rest of us.
100%.
Yeah, I gotta say, this is a sit down between four sickos. We've been doing it a long time over here.
Too long. Yeah. Like it's almost like dog years, like how many years that you spent on Red Sox Twitter. It's like, yeah, man, how far do you go back? Yeah, man, like I remember like 2014, and it was like they had Bogey at third base, dude. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, it's like that's
Steven Drew holding out.
Yeah, like dude, I started on Red Sox Twitter in like 2009. Like, it's pathetic.
Yeah, I think 2012 was my first year on Twitter, and you know those first couple years on Twitter, like
I think 12 was mine too.
Like, again, you were on Twitter, but you weren't on Twitter. So that's actually a good first question for you there, Jared. Now that we're just on this topic, if you wanted to age yourself in terms of Red Sox Twitter years, what's your first major Red Sox Twitter memory? Because I know mine that like I was on Red Sox Twitter for a bit, but the first like true big memory remembering it, and I definitely have mine, but I'm curious to hear what yours is.
Oh man. I think maybe Coco Crisp tweeted me in 2008 and I was like, what? There was another time, I think it was 2010, where Roger Clemens responded to me, and then something happened where he was in the news. I don't know if it was like the perjury stuff or whatever, but like MSNBC was like scrolling Roger Clemens' Twitter account. And it's just like at Jared Carrabis. Yep, see you there. And I was like, what?
Knock on the door. It's the DOJ looking to talk to, right?
Yeah, there were a few like early Red Sox Twitter moments. Like, I remember the first time that ESPN used one of my nicknames. It was in 2011, when like I was calling Salty, I was calling him Salto Lamaggio. And in 2011, I think Sports Center or Baseball Tonight, one of the two, used the nickname on the air, and I was like, oh my god. I tweeted about it. I got like 13 likes, and I was like, bro, we made it 13 likes.
Call it like in up until the end of the Obama administration, if you got double-digit likes, that was such a badge of honor for random posters like me or Jake or Liam at the time.
Creator funds popping off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, where's my check, Elon? The one that
I've been saying that all week. If they had this money making ability thing on Twitter, it's like I would throw up how much money I would have made through Twitter, because having been on there since 2009 and all the shit from like 2018 and 2015, like all those years, all the engagements of just like click farming angry Yankee fans, I would be a multi-billionaire.
He wouldn't be on the show. He wouldn't be on the show.
You wouldn't know where to find me. I would be in the woods. Right now.
The one like first major Red Sox Twitter bit that I remember clearly during the 13 playoff run, did Steven Drew get a hit Twitter account.
Yes.
And it's just
yes.
no,
Yeah.
no, nope. Still no.
Then he did.
Still no.
Yeah.
Game 6 of the World Series.
Yeah.
Yes! Like all caps. That was amazing.
Yes.
That was so. Oh man, it really has been that long though. It has been that long. How many people like go up to you and say like, I've been following you since those early years, since 09, since 12, since before the Pablo Sandoval belt incident or Instagram incident, which again that was a watershed moment in this game that we call posting.
Yeah, I feel like people. I definitely hear it a decent amount. Like, I've been following you since Sockspace, which was my blog before Twitter. Like, I started that in 2006. I don't know how many of those people I believe. Like, I don't know how to quiz them, right? Like,
It's
what
like
do
a
I
high
say?
school
Oh,
kid. Like you were 2 at the time, dude.
yeah, like it's like, oh yeah, I've been reading you since Sockspace. Be like, oh yeah, then what did I say about that fucking May 22nd game against the Kansas City Royals in 2006? Then what did I say? What was my take on that game? Like, you can't. There's no way to like quiz these people if they were really going that far back. But yeah, I feel like there's a decent amount of people. I still like follow a lot of people that I followed back then, like during like the 2013 run. I was like, it was almost like I compared to like being like a bartender and I had regulars. Like the people that I would see in my mentions most often, I would follow, and that's you guys. Like that is literally why I started following you guys back then. I was like, yeah, these guys are my regulars. Like they'll reply like more often than most people.
If I pester this guy enough, maybe he'll give me a pity follow.
Follow that.
Yeah, if anyone's listening, don't get any ideas. It's not just showing up. It's being funny and interesting and entertaining. And I was like, yeah, like these are my regulars. And even like Jake, like didn't you have like 2 of your friends that I met at Winter Weekend? There's like 2 other, like there's some of your friends that I met with.
Well, there's Howie, who you work with now. He's at DraftKings with you.
Yes.
Shout out basically, if you know Howie, you can be a guest on here. I think that's basically the threshold.
Because that's more than one now.
We had Streisky on a couple weeks ago, who Howie like golfs with him and Emerson, and so
okay, the Nesson connection, got it.
And then BK, shout out BK. He was glasses.
Yes,
he had glasses. Yeah. I actually have a funny story with the Carabas follow. I had 2013, you followed me. And that was like the touch of God, And then, but my account, my friends thought it'd be funny. Like, I guess it was early 2014. They got my account banned, and I was devastated. And I remember I like kept replying to you. I was like, hey, can you follow my new account? And you did eventually. But I was I was beside myself. I didn't know.
Because I remember back then it was easier to keep. I want to say opening day 2014 is when I hit either 3,000 or 4,000 followers, and I was like, fucking let's go. And so it was easier to keep track of people that were tweeting at you regularly. It was also kind of easier to see like who the dickheads were too. Like there were just like a lot of people back then where they would just have these awful takes, or they would just like incessantly be tweeting you nonsense. So it's just like mute, whatever. Actually, that was before mute, so you just kind of had to deal with it. But yeah, no, anyone that was funny, like that was kind of my policy back then, was if you could make me laugh, I would probably follow you.
I remember you had 617 followers for a long
during
time.
The championship. Yes, during 2013. Yeah, during 2013, I wouldn't budge from 617. So
just soft walking anyone.
Right. if so, no, that's how many people I followed.
Oh, yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so someone like deactivated.
I was gonna say you had more followers at that point. What am I talking about?
Yeah, not really by much. I think it was like around 3,000, and I remember that I was following 617, and like if someone like fell off or like someone reactivated, I was like, all right, who do I have to unfollow? And I made sure I was like part of like the jinx for the 2013 World Series. Yeah.
Well, again, it really does go back so far. It is crazy, and I've always have appreciated Carabas, like how like you'll just shoot the shit with anybody like that off of Twitter or just in general. Like I remember coming up to you, meeting you in person the first time at TAV. Rest in peace, TAV, by the way. But I was like, I was there with my now fiance. I was like, oh, that's fucking Carabas. Like I've been shooting the shit with him on Twitter for years now, but here he is, like actually in person now. I was like, oh my god, like this is kind of like it's kind of a trip a little bit. But you were very nice, and that goes for some other people. Like I've ran into Steve Peralt, good guy, great guy in person. Obviously, we just mentioned Gary. We met Gary one time at TAF. Good group of people there who like if just chopping it up with the regular folk like Liam, Jake, and I.
Yeah, those times can never be replicated. Like the baseball tavern era was just so special because it happened like I think it started in 2015, which is when Section 10 started. So like I remember the first time we ever went out with Steve and he just got like plastered drunk and he was like dancing like an idiot. Because at first I was like, this kid's kind of a dork. Like when he first started doing the podcast, I was like a little bit of a dork, but like it works. It works. And then he got hammered and he was just like dancing to like all these songs. I was like, all right, I think I like Steve more than a friend. So that was like the beginning of it in 2015. It just kept like escalating. And why it was so cool was because like we didn't need to like call our friends and be like, hey, baseball tavern on Friday. You just knew that they were going to be there. Like it was Fenway employees. It was like Section 10 people, but then it was Section 10 listeners. And then everyone, like we didn't have to tell anyone to show up. It was like a Section 10 hangout every Friday night after a Red Sox game. Like win or lose, everyone's like, if it was a bad loss, we'd be like, fuck. But at least we got baseball tavern. And then we would go there and everyone, all the same faces would be there. And it was almost like, I don't know if you guys do like Townie night the night before Thanksgiving, but like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everyone
Wednesday,
from your high school goes to the same bar the night before Thanksgiving, and you walk in, and you're like, this is fucking great. Like, we should do this all the time, but you never do. And then you wait till the next year, and then it happens. Then year over year, like, people start to fall off, and you don't see as many people. Every Friday night, it was the same people. It was the same awesome crowd. And, yeah, like, it'll never be like that again.
Going back to those earlier days and looking at where you are now, is there one... in terms of your work, whether it was the writing or the podcast or whatever it might be, was there one moment, one interview, one whatever it was where you could have said to yourself, like, okay, like I'm here now, like I've made it to this point, like I'm prominent enough. Obviously, it's grown to what it is today, but is there one in hindsight that you can kind of identify as that moment?
The first live show that we did before the playoffs in 2018.
Before Game 2.
Yeah, like you guys know, like you're doing a podcast, it's you, your buddies, and you're staring into your laptops and you don't see how many people are listening. Like, sure, you put out an episode and people will tweet you and like you can kind of see like how many people care. And over the course of 2018, it's like we got all those people taking pictures. Like we did like the Section 10 map where it's like we wanted to get a picture of someone in every state wearing a Section 10 shirt. And then we wanted to get like we started throwing out random requests like, oh, we want someone in a Section 10 shirt skydiving. And I said one, I was like, I want someone wearing a Section 10 shirt on the Jaws ride with Jaws when he comes out of the water. And some dude did it. Some dude did it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just takes one.
It just takes one. So yeah, we did like a bunch of stuff like that. And it was really cool that year. But then we did Game 2 of the division series against the Yankees, and we did a live show at Cask. And for the first time, we could see the people that were listening. And like the Cask show was the first one, but then we were doing live shows at Lansdowne Pub. And that was like, we had a stage and then it was just a fucking sea of people. Because even at the Cask, it was like there were some people that were there to pregame, whatever. Like we had our own corner of the bar. But if you were at Lansdowne Pub, you were there for the show because we had our own like section. Like it was just like there was a stage and then the entire bar, it was all people in like Section 10 shirts. Like they all like I was up on stage doing an ad read for Sock Signatures and people were screaming the words to the ad read like it was a fucking song. Like I was like the front man to a metal band and like the crowd was screaming. And I'm pretty sure the ad read was defunct by that point. Like like I don't even think we were doing like the actual ad reads anymore because he doesn't do Sock Signatures. It's not a company anymore. But like we would just like mix it in there for nostalgia, and people were in the front row like it was lyrics to a song.
Everyone together like in unison going, "They cleaned your fucking face."
yeah, it was incredible. But yeah, like that's the first time that you can really see it in front of you, and like that's a very, very cool thing.
I gotta ask, like, sorry,
No,
Jake.
Liam,
Sorry, I'll cut you off.
Liam just cucking Jake.
Yeah, no, yeah. Hopping in there. No, I gotta ask. Like, I vividly remember listening to the first Section 10 episode, like in one of my college dorms.
Yeah.
When you guys started that, like, and just you and Pete, like, what did you really think it would ever kind of like blow up like this, or were you just kind of like, we'll do it for fun, and Sort of had the Barstool name attached to it, but
Yeah,
kinda,
no.
I mean,
no.
was it just did you view it as like just a gradual progression from like sock space, and you were like, all right, this is what people do now, so
I mean, at that point, we were the second Barstool podcast ever. It was KSC Radio was first, and then there were no other Barstool podcasts. So episode 1 of Section 10 was released on the KFC Radio iTunes feed because we didn't.
I remember the intro.
Yeah, with Brandon. Brendan Clancy was like, he's like, "What's up?" He's like, "This is Jared and Pete, and they're trying this new thing. They're calling it Section 10. Like, check it out." And so like we didn't even have our own iTunes feed. But originally Pete was just like we should do like a men's lifestyle podcast where we just like talk about whatever, like going out to bars and like stuff the guys do and whatever. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. But like I have like a Red Sox audience. So like what if it was a blend of the two? Like what if it was just like we talked about the Red Sox, but also we had
drinking a beer.
Yeah, like it's like when we go out after games, we can like tell the stories about like last night at the bar because we went out after the Red Sox game, but like we're also talking about the Red Sox, and like that's kind of how it started. And then it was a last place season in 2015. So like when people complain now, like there's not enough Sox talk, I'm like, bro, the first season of Section 10, we didn't talk about baseball at all. Like we had fucking Kirk Minahan in the basement, and we had like a bunch of like radio personalities and stuff, and like we just talked about their careers because it was just more interesting than the Red Sox at the time.
In the Alan Craig Studios.
Studios, yeah. So I didn't ever think that it would become what it became at all, but like once like 2018 happened, I knew that. I mean, I was like, there's only up from here. Like I don't know how we come down, but I mean the way we came down was everyone just we just split up because of like everyone just got
like the
different
Beatles.
Jobs.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
We'll
Is
be like
there one
Lorne
guy,
Michaels. Or were you saying, Jake?
Is there one person that you've like tried to get as a guest or something that you haven't been able to make happen yet? Like that white whale?
Yeah, it's probably Nomar. Yeah. Like
Okay.
Well, he's a media guy. Does he still do the stuff with the Dodgers? It's it's not like he's hiding in the mountains. You know what I mean? It's like
I've pushed out. Like he follows me on Twitter. I don't know how active he is on Twitter, so I don't know that he would even respond to a DM. But I mean, it's not like I can't like ask Lou, like, hey, like, could you? And like he's sitting next to. I'm friends with Jerry Hairston Jr. He's sitting next to Jerry on the Dodgers broadcast every night. Like I could literally just text Jerry and be like, hey, do you think Nomar would do this? But I've never done it. I've never even attempted to get him, just because I think the pain of rejection would be way farther along on the negative end of the spectrum than like the pleasure of actually getting him on. Like,
well, all we had to do to get you on was just ask.
That's pretty much it. That's
right.
true.
Put yourself in our shoes. There, all you got to do is just ask number 5.
All you gotta do is ask. Yeah, I don't know. But with him, especially because it would be like a Red Sox interview, I don't know that he wants to revisit those days. Like I don't know how he feels about it. Yes, but no. Like I met him at the 2010 World Series. So like I had a paper ticket, and he was with ESPN, and we went up to like the TV booth, and I just like handed him my ticket, and he signed it and gave it back to me. So like yes, but no. Like I didn't meet him like as Jared. I was just some dickhead in the crowd.
Because he was he was like your childhood guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was my
guy. Like I don't want to like it would crush me. It would crush me if he was like, no I'm gonna pass on that.
Kind of seems like a douche. I'm not really down for it.
yeah. That would hurt way too much.
I feel like you guys had Pedro on Section 10 like a year in.
Yeah,
I remember all the stuff about Pete asking him the SI kids.
So that Liam same page you because I was gonna be I was gonna say Pete asked him about the Sandra Bullock incident, right?
He did.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that made the rounds because of me. Like I tweeted that out. I actually read that book. So when I read the book when it came out, I think the book came out in 2002. So I remembered it, and then I searched a PDF of the book to get the actual quote and then tweeted it out. And then fucking Pete had it in his idiot brain and was like, hey, I'm going to ask Pedro Martinez about this. And he did.
Credit to him.
Right? No one else would have, It's important information. I had to confirm that.
Now we know.
now it's logged in. Now it's logged in the history books forever. You look from where you were, again, with Sox Space, with Section 10, to where it is now, where you're actually up there in the booth with NESN, doing stuff with 360, speaking to all these great guests.
Let's talk about you in the NESN booth.
Is this podcast feed about to get DMCA'd now that Jared has been welcomed in? Is that what's going to happen? Right?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What's going on up there? What's going on?
I mean, I don't know. God didn't want me to become too powerful. He was like, listen, we're going to give you your own NESN show. We're going to give you a podcast. We're going to give you spots on MLB Network. We're going to give you a show with Tony Maz, but you can't have it all. If you go on the broadcast, we're going to make you look like an asshole. And I was like, thank you.
You're going to hurt the very thing that you love the most.
Yeah, we're going to turn the fans against you. We're going to make them think that it's your fault why the Red Sox give up home runs when you're in there. And I was like, I accept your terms. Listen, I would rather be the guy that goes in the booth where the Red Sox give up homers than not be able to get up there at all. So I was like, I accept your terms. And that's pretty much what happened.
It's happened like 5 or 6 times now.
Every time except for once. And there was the one time that they didn't give up runs. I want to say it was against Toronto. And the very next inning, Toronto scored 6 runs in 1 inning.
Evens out. You know what I mean? It's still...
Yeah.
Still,
why don't they bring you in the bottom of innings?
So they did once. Like, they've only been bringing me in for the top half, and then I think the Toronto game where no runs scored, they had me for the top and the bottom.
Oh, okay. I just feel like you may as well try it.
Can't score negative runs.
I'm going to not agree unless it's the bottom half.
Okay.
All right. Here.
I think that's good.
Look at us breaking this news.
Yeah, I can't do the top half ever again. It has to be the bottom half.
So
like, if you're only going to have me in there
times?
for half an inning, then like stop setting me up for failure. Like, let's just do the bottom. Because if the Red Sox don't score, no one's like, wow, what a jinx. The Red Sox didn't score. It's like, well, that happens in baseball games. But if they give up a home run every single time, that's a statistical anomaly.
Yeah. I think the 5th one, people were already, like, I remember on Twitter, you show up in the booth, everybody's like, oh boy, here we go. And then I think they maybe got 2 outs, and it was like you started to get excited, and then I think they gave up the home run, and it was like, oh no.
There was like a couple lazy fly balls. I was like, yeah, we got a guy there. This is nothing. Like, this inning's gonna fly by. 2-run homer. And it's never solo shots. Like, it's always just like damage, absolute damage.
Ducks on the pond.
Yeah. And then I think not last Friday, the Friday before, I went on the pregame, and then I forget who was pitching, but they gave up like a bunch of runs in the first inning. I was like, fuck you. If you're going to blame that on me, like, now we're just looking for a reason. That's like some Karim Garcia bullshit.
Yes. I thought you were going to say you're on the pregame and like the monster collapsed or something like that. Like the stadium imploded upon itself. That's
they were trying to blame me for the first inning runs. I was like, that's not how that works at all.
But I mean, again, you starting out the way that you did to where you are now, you're part of, like, I mean, this is, big traditional media here. These are, regional establishments now. Of course, NESN has been around forever, and you're part of the, with the actual team itself, working in conjuncture with them. How do you maintain that relationship with traditional media and with the team itself while still being able to put yourself at enough of an arm's length distance where you can, come up with your own opinions, come up with your own takes, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I built a lot of these relationships since I was like 18 years old. So they know me now, where it's almost like I'm able to play by a different set of rules. Like, they just know, like, that's Jared. Like, that's who he is. That's who he's going to be. And he ain't changing for you. And that's how I feel anyway. Like, if I were ever asked to change, I would just say no and be like, thank you for the opportunity. Like, that's how I feel about it. Like, even when like, I'll do like some of like the NESN stuff, and you see everyone there in suits, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna just wear what I like to wear. And like, it's people will like give me shit for it, be like, oh, way to dress up for it. I'm like, I'm not a suit guy. Like, you didn't hire me to be a suit guy. You hired me to be Jared, and like, that's what I'm gonna be. I remember in 2008 or 9, like, I had a meeting with like the Red Sox marketing department, and I went in there, and they were like, yeah, like, you can come in, we'll have the meeting. And it was a day of a game, so they're like, and then you can just go into the game after. And I was like, sick. So I show up for the meeting, and I was wearing a Red Sox jersey and a backwards Red Sox hat and my gym shorts with my Red Sox like leg tattoo hanging out. And I remember the dude who set me up like with this meeting. It was like a big opportunity. He fucking reamed me out after. He was like, I got you that meeting and you showed up in fucking gym shorts and a Red Sox jersey and a backwards hat. And I was like, yeah, I feel like I thought they loved it. Yeah, it's like if you want me, then you want me for me. And if you don't, then that's okay. But I'm not gonna change who I am. So like when we're doing like the NESN 360 show, we do like a pro, and it's not like I have to change who I am. They want me to be who I am with the players when I'm with the players. And when I do the pregame, it's not like, all right, Jared, like break down like analysis, and I'm not like breaking it down like Dallas Braden would break it down. I talk about it how I would talk about it with you guys or on Name Redacted or whatever. Like that's just what I do, and it's cool in a way, like that I kind of like made my path by being who I am and not conforming to what I thought these places wanted. Like this is my second year now doing stuff with NESN. You think I didn't want to do stuff with NESN 15 years ago? Like, of course I did. But if they wanted something different, then they were going to have to get somebody different. But if you want what I do, then here I am. And eventually we got to a point where it's like, all right, yeah, like, we have like the streaming service and we can use something that's in that realm. And I was like, all right, great. I love the idea. Let's do it. So, yeah, I think that's probably one of the things that I'm most proud of is that everything got to where it is right now, not because we had to like fake it till we make it. It was like, either you love me or you don't, or like no one's in between. It's either like you're a fan of it or you're a big time hater, but either way, like you're reacting to it in some way, shape or form. So that, yeah.
And you sticking to your guns that way. You answered the age-old question of like what a mega fan would do if they were on the duck boat for a World Series.
Yeah,
we're all able to live vicariously through that.
Yeah. Like so I was at
how did you not to cut you off, but like the official story of that, like who got you on? How are you looped into that? Because I mean, shit, I would keep that as my Twitter picture till the end of time if I was in that situation.
Yeah, it was. So I was flying back from LA with Dana Beers, and the Red Sox had just won the World Series. We're flying back from LA, and then we land in New York. And then when I land in New York, I get like the text message like, "Hey, like, would you want to be in the Red Sox parade? It's an ad deal with New Era," and it was like the whole thing was like I'm gonna have to like wear like a New Era Red Sox hat. And like go on like the New Era boat.
Tough assignment.
Yeah. Like,
oh man, I don't know about this
any
one.
day, anyways, for the most part, right?
Yeah. So it's like go on the New Era boat and then like whatever, post a couple videos, and I was like, yeah, like that sounds sick. So then I'm on. I don't know if it was the next day, probably the next day. On the next day, I'm on the Amtrak going to Boston for the parade, and I get a call from someone at the Red Sox, and they were like, you can't do that. Like you can't go, like, if you go on the duck boat, then other media people are going to complain. And like New Era had 2 spots, like the 2 spots on the duck boat were for like New Era employees. And then they were basically just giving the spots to me and Coley. And then they were like, yeah, you can't just like give those spots away. Like they're for New Era people and you're not a New Era person. And they were like, well, would you still want to like, you can like walk next to the duck boat? And I was like, absolutely not. I was like, I'm going to get on the next fucking train, turn my ass around and go back to New York. I was like, cause Dave will ream me out if I'm like, I say I'm going to be in the parade and then I'm just walking next to it. Like who gives a shit? Like, and that's embarrassing. So I was like,
pass it out like candy.
Yeah. I was like, I'm good. I'm good. So then they call back. I mean, I'm the person that I'm talking to it's not a contentious conversation. I'm friends with that person. Okay. So then they call me back and they're like, how do we make this work? Cause like, I don't want to like ruin this whole thing for you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, well, I was like, are there any spots on JD's boat? And they were like, well, there might be. Like, do you want to ask him? And I was like, yeah. And so I was like, Julio, I was like, are there any fucking spots on your boat? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. And that was it. So like, it was supposed like the New Era boat was Mookie's boat. And we were, he wasn't even drinking. He was just like, yada, yada, yada. So we turned JD's boat into the party boat because JD wasn't really drinking that much either. But like we got Rafi shit faced and fucking Hector Velasquez. So we get there and we figure out like which one is JD's boat, and me and Coley are the first two dudes on any boat. Like the players, no one is on a boat. Me and Coley are the only two living souls on a duck boat for the parade. Then they start to load up or whatever. And then I look over at the duck boat next to us, and it's Benintendi, and he's got like a cooler. And I was like, what's in the cooler? And he's like, you want a beer? And I was like, yeah, I want a beer. So
Hell yeah. What are you going to say no to the...
Yeah, like, but yeah, it was what, 10:30 in the morning, and I hadn't eaten food yet. So like, that's why I was so hammered. Is like, I had
That's
nothing in my
what guys do.
stomach. Yeah, I had nothing.
You didn't lay a foundation. Didn't lay a base.
Nothing. And I wasn't anticipating that. I wasn't even in my brain when I showed up. I was like, I'm not even gonna have like I'm just gonna, wave, whatever. Did not think I was drinking alcohol. Big mistake. So then Benny throws me a beer. It's my first beer of the parade. And we were told, stay underneath. Like, you guys can be on the boat, but like you and Coley, like, stay underneath, whatever. So the boat starts to pull out, and we're kind of like going where like Baseball Tavern is. Like, we're like, if there's one video of me underneath, and it's going from Fenway to like that like crosswalk where like the end of the street where Baseball Tavern was. And then JD like looked down. He's like, what the fuck are you guys doing down there? Like, get up here. And we were like, are you sure? Like, we were told to stay down here. And he's like, who cares? So then me and Coley like got up on the deck with like Rafi and JD and Hector Velasquez. And that's pretty much like how that's how it happened.
And the rest is history from there.
Yeah.
Do you think realistically, like with hindsight, but even looking, to the next however many decades of your life, that's probably the apex?
Yeah. There's no way I can ever top that. Because even now it's like,
I don't even have, like having a kid. Who cares?
No, yeah.
Like,
I would.
Kid didn't win a World Series ring yet.
No. Like, even if like my kid won a World Series, I'd still be like, yeah, but I was the star of the fucking parade, you bitch. Like, you didn't do shit. Yeah, like that's how that would go. But yeah, like it has to be the apex because that video, it's still on YouTube, thank God. Just like talking, like I was getting interviewed before we even got to Fenway to go on the boats, and I was like, yeah, I hope there's some Section 10 shirts in the crowd. And then it cuts to like people screaming, holding up Section 10 shirts, like, yeah, maybe some Stay Hot Rocket signs. And there was like someone holding like a fucking Stay Hot Rocket sign. Yeah, it was nuts. I don't know how you could ever top that, because I don't think that's ever going to happen again. Like, say they win the World Series in the next 5 years, like I don't think that like we're going to be allowed back. Like we're not going to be allowed to do that. Like the only way that happens is like if the Red Sox win the World Series and like Cora has me on his boat. Like that's it. And like I wouldn't expect that from anybody. Like I think that like that was my one shot, and we didn't need a do-over.
There you go. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Excluding the guys you rode with, JD, Velasquez, and Raf, if you could pick three random Red Sox players throughout history to be on the duck boat with you, just say hypothetically, I know this collection of Red Sox players of today and yesteryear won the World Series, who would you want on your boat? And I'll open that question to Jake and Liam as well.
They had to have won one, though?
No, just anyone. Because, that's 86 years of players who you can't pick. So it sort of defeats the purpose.
Poppy.
Okay.
Yeah. That's another thing that we didn't hit on. Just the fact that like me and David Ortiz are like best friends now.
We're pals.
Just buddies.
Like just part of the
unreal.
story arc where it's just like, wait, what? Like all this other stuff is cool, but like being real life friends with David Ortiz, that's probably the coolest thing. I mean, besides the parade. No offense, Poppy, but like the parade, number one. But like being able to just walk in a room and Poppy's like, "What's up, motherfucker?" Yeah. Like
Jay.
crazy. So Poppy, honestly, I would have Kevin Plawecki on there.
Plawecki.
Oh,
Yeah.
good vibes, guy. Good vibes.
Just for
guy.
the music? Like what's
No, he's just the best. He's the
Okay.
best. Like, yeah, just like the genuine best dude. We still keep in touch all the time. Man, who would be the third?
the more obscure the better.
Oh,
As
man.
as someone who has been on baseball Twitter long enough, the more dudes you can name, just naming dudes, that really gets the people going.
Like I'm thinking, like, all right, I'll do like one in terms of like people that I actually know, because it's like that that would enhance the experience.
Sure.
Because like I'm having fun with people that I know. Like I'm like brothers for life with Hector Velasquez, but like I'll be honest, we haven't communicated since the parade, so it's like we will always have that day together. But I don't know that I would have handpicked him. So I don't know.
He was
like,
nails that year, by the way. I found
Yeah.
myself
Great.
looking at the 18 baseball.
Amazing
reference
swing
recently.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was great.
I'm highly tempted to maybe go like Matt Barnes. He would be the music vibes guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
he was a big house music guy. I remember
Big
that.
EDM guy. Yeah, he
Still
would have
is.
the vibes
He-
going.
He's alive. So.
Yeah. He loves it. Yeah.
He's with us.
He is still among us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like I'm not
That's
thinking,
a good list.
Yeah,
That's a good
Poppy, Matt Barnes, and Kevin Plawecki. Like that would
It's
be
very varied.
that's
I mean,
a
that's
wide
a huge
wide
spread right
range
there.
of personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're all just like dudes that I know would be having a great time during a World Series parade.
I know I would need Boggs on mine for sure.
Yeah. Well, no,
100%.
he would drink all the beers. Like that's a terrible pick.
Yeah.
Good point. I didn't even
Like
think of that.
all the beers,
right?
you would
Yeah,
be
not-
like
none for
fishing
you.
I didn't
through
even get a
the.
buzz.
You would fish through the cooler and be like, "Really, dude? Like we're 20 minutes in."
Well,
And
that's
then
what's
you-
all underneath. We just have like 30s and 30s and 30s. You know what I mean?
Who took their dick out in the locker room after they won the world? Was it Porcello?
Porcello was naked. He did like
Oh
a naked
yes,
cannonball.
I remember that. Yeah.
It's on Instagram Live. I think
Yeah.
it was Vaz's Instagram Live, and it's just
Yes.
Porcello's dick is hanging out in the back for like
did
a
a
while.
naked cannonball into like a tub of ice.
Yeah.
There's not many professions where you could reach the
Maybe
pinnacle
him.
of it and like whip out some dong, and everyone would be like, "Yeah, I get it," you know? Maybe-
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, long season.
Oh man. So I mean, rewinding a little bit from 18, bringing it back towards one of the biggest, again, watershed moments of Red Sox Twitter in your career, breaking the Pablo Sandoval Instagram story.
Yeah.
Number one, again, the story of that, just to recall that, just because that I remember that developing live and it was crazy. And number two, I'm curious because I'm sure you get a ton of them. DMs or people tweeting at you, reaching out to you with similar stories, like how much scuttlebutt you hear off to the side that like maybe you can't say publicly, because I'm sure there's no shortage of that. So kind of a two-pronged question there.
Yeah. The Pablo thing was like that was back when Instagram had the activity feed, so you could see like
I
who was
miss
liking
it.
who.
God,
Yeah.
I miss it.
No, keep it away. Keep it away. like that was like you could see who was liking whose pictures, who followed who in real time. And I just broken up with my girlfriend. So I was like, is this bitch liking other dudes' pictures already? And like I was like obsessively like looking. I was like, let me just see that she's not liking other dudes' pictures. And then I just see Pablo Sandoval liked Diva Legacy's pictures.
Like,
And
I
I was
remember
like,
the
Famous
Diva
names
Legacy.
in Red Sox history.
yep, Diva Legacy. And I was like, those are some
We gotta get them on the
big-ass
pod.
titties.
Diva
Yeah,
Legacy.
Diva. Where is she at? Because I think she deactivated or changed her name. Like Diva Legacy, to my knowledge, does not exist in the form that she did before. So I took a screenshot.
Pablo doing some lady respecting.
Mm-hmm. And
She needs a banner on what is it, Ipswich or Van Ness, where they have like the name
yeah,
banners.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, wait a sec, because they were playing the Braves and the game was still on.
Yeah.
And I was like, not to blow up his spot, but is Pablo Sandoval on Instagram right
Yeah,
now?
like what is that connection like? As you're looking down at your phone, then like you look at the game. You see, it's like the third inning or something. You look at the phone, you look at the game.
Yeah.
Like go back and forth, putting the pieces together.
Mhm. And I tweeted out, and I don't know, within 40 minutes, they're talking about it on the Sports Hub. And I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, I thought that we were cool. Like, I thought that just we were in our little like Twitter circles here and everyone was going to be cool about this. But they're talking about it on the Sports Hub. And then I think that's when like the feud with me and Pete Abe really started, was because he was a fucking dickhead that he sent me an email being like, it was his brother. His brother has access to account. Couldn't have been him. It's a gambling issue. Players can't have their phones because, they can't like tweet information during games and stuff. It's a gambling issue. So it's not him. It's his brother. And I was like, all right, like, thanks for the info. Like, I'll include in my blog that it could have been his brother, but you don't fucking know that. And I don't fucking know that. And then afterwards, when like the next day, like Pablo admitted to it and apologized and he got suspended. And I remember like sending an email back to Pete being like, cough, cough. And he was like, stay humble. Like, obviously it was Pablo. And I was like, what? Like that's why he's just the biggest fucking loser going. I cannot stand that dude.
I was gonna say, you still riding that beef with Pete Abe? Yeah.
Did you hear the story from spring training?
I did not. No.
I
So-
don't know.
I don't think
I
know
told the
that.
story on the podcast. I was in the broadcast booth at spring training in Fort Myers, and if
How many
you,
runs did the team score?
probably like 27.
Okay. Continue.
So like
I'll get him out of the way now. It's spring training. It won't happen during the season, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't in like the Nesson booth. It was kind of just like the like whatever, like the press box area.
Yeah.
So to walk out, say like this is the field, you have to like walk out this way, and then the bathrooms are back here. So I'm in the bathroom.
For our
and-
listeners, just don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You guys don't put out a YouTube version?
Nah, like we have clips, but we don't do the full one.
We should. We have to get
Yeah,
on
we
it.
don't have a
You guys-
full blown video operation over here yet.
Yeah,
just-
go,
we're
go
humble.
get on the
It's
YouTube
just us.
action.
We gotta find an intern.
Get an intern.
Unpaid.
Unpaid internships, rolling deep. So I'm in the bathroom, literally just like washing my hands, and the door opens, and it is literally that Simpsons meme where like the grandfather like
Yeah.
opens the
Grandpa,
door,
yeah.
walks in,
Abe.
and then spins and then walks out. This dude was afraid to piss in the same bathroom as me. There was no one else in there. It was just me. He opened up the door, saw that I was in there, turned around, and walked out. This dude would rather piss his fucking pants than be in the same closed space as me.
I guess you
Insane.
could. I guess you could say you did not put him in the fucking bathroom.
No, I
Did you walk
didn't.
right
But he was like, this dude is gonna try to put me in the bathroom, and I'm not letting that happen.
He was getting dunked on just a couple days ago for the. I dunked on him, included the
Noah
Noah
Song?
Song stuff. Yeah, the
Mhm.
complete embarrassment that was.
Yeah,
Got-
you guys
got
basically
that.
have a monopoly on like Red Sox memes.
Yes, that's what
That's
we've been going
our
for.
that's our corner.
Yeah,
Trying
you
to-
guys,
that's mainly Liam. Liam's stockpile.
Resident
of,
meme lord over
Dude,
there.
Like,
my camera roll. It's just
it's a new one every
outrageous.
week. Like
Yeah.
a new completely. I'm like, where the fuck? Like you
the
you
thank
introduced
you Red
me,
Sox
Liam.
Nation one is my new favorite. Like I wish I thought of
That's
that.
really good. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you, Red Sox
Like,
Nation.
yeah,
I spent
anytime
like
that, like, the Red
15
Sox are gonna
minutes
lose.
searching Twitter to find that.
Yeah, anytime
remember
the Red Sox lose, I see like the thank you Red Sox Nation. Like it's over, dude. It's just over.
We usually
I
just
don't-
tweet it if they're trailing. The game doesn't have to even have to be
Right?
over.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's very very one way, black or white there. Liam will like we a couple weeks ago before we even hit record on an episode. Liam said something just like off the cuff, like like Mr. Cheddar, and I'm like, who? And he's like, and he looks at me, and goes, "You haven't seen Mr.
You haven't
Cheddar
heard
yet?"
Mr.
And I'm like,
Cheddar?
no, what is it? He's like, oh, it's the new meme. I'm like, dude, shut the.
It's
shut
a new
up,
meme, dude.
Jared, are you
It's
aware of
just-
right?
Mr.
Duh.
Cheddar?
I'm
The
not
mouse,
familiar with
the
Mr.
mouse
Cheddar.
with the
Liam,
suit
pull
on
up
with his
Mr. Cheddar
arms
on your
spread
phone.
Yeah,
out.
let me.
Yeah,
let
let
me
me
see if
hit
I
me with
got
that
it.
Mr.
Jared, I
Cheddar.
have a question for you that I don't want to
Yes.
forget to ask because
Okay.
I feel like I would have this problem. Well, so you've done. I mean, it's been almost like 10 years now of
Yeah,
podcasts, right?
sure. This
So
is
that's-
season number 9, I think.
And
yeah.
you can, like say not whatever you want, but it's obviously almost unfiltered. When
Yeah.
you go into the booth or those more professional settings, do you struggle like
Yes.
reeling? Yeah, because I'm thinking like I would say I'm gonna kill myself on like deep flies or something.
Yeah,
like, I don't know how.
It's less.
That's an
It's less like stuff like that, and more like a slip of the tongue type deal.
There you go.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah, there's-
All right, put
just
it away
showed,
now.
just showed Jared Mr. Cheddar. But
There we go. Now he knows. Now he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always trying not to say fuck. Basically, like it's so natural
Because
to me.
what's Nesson's tape delay? Like if you
probably
did,
7 seconds.
It's got to be
I think that's-
7 seconds.
That's
yeah.
standard usually. I would
Yeah.
imagine, yeah.
Can you ever recall a broadcaster needing to use the 7-second delay in a professional baseball game, though?
I can think of
I don't
Tom
know.
Brenneman. He could have used 7 seconds.
He could have
there, right?
used it. Yeah, yeah, he could have used one.
There was
like-
there was a White Sox play last year. I think it was like Steve Stone. There was a throw in from the outfield, and he missed the cutoff man. And I guess he just kind of was like, "Are you shitting me?" It's so good.
Yeah, I think there was I don't know who the broadcaster was, but there was a slip of the tongue where like Pujols grounded out. And
oh yeah.
Oh, Gary Thorne.
We don't have to say the word.
Yep.
Yeah.
We don't have
Gary
to say the
Thorne.
word.
Yeah.
I think it was Gary Thorne. We don't
Yeah.
have to say the word. Look it up. But yeah,
used
we don't
a very
have to say.
unfortunate word, and he wanted to say retired, but he did not.
Yeah,
It
so
wasn't in the bag.
He did not say
Yeah,
that.
do the math on that one.
Yeah, do the math. Yeah, but it is like I
Not an endorsement.
that is absolutely crazy. That I mean, like I started doing radio the same year that I started doing podcasting, which was be 2015, and I have spent many hours in front of a live microphone and somehow have not said the word fuck, which is very, very hard for me because it's so natural. Like I will say it. It's not like, I think, when I talk about like being myself, like I remember like being a little kid and I've always wanted to say it. And I remember asking my parents, like, how old do I have to be to like say fuck? like how old do I have to be to like be able to say that without any repercussions? And they were like, well, not yet, not anytime soon. And I was like, well, fuck, like that's terrible. So like now I think, you get to a certain part in your career where even just like in day-to-day life, like I will say it a lot just in like regular conversations. It's just so natural to me because that's how I talk. That's how I feel. So yeah, doing like being up there and the Red Sox give up another home run and just being able, I think it's because I don't say anything. When they give up a home run, you'll see like the videos in the booth. I just put my head down into like my arms. Like I fold my arms.
Internally screaming though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it's a big time internal scream because I would rather say nothing than say what I would like to say in that moment.
Yeah.
It's totally gonna happen now. Next time you're in the booth or pregame show.
Well, Dallas does it. Like he has the cough button. And I don't know where the cough button is, but like that game the other day, the A's, I think they gave up 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th to lose, and it was on his birthday.
Yeah.
I'm sure he used the cough button that day. Yeah, so he can just let it out, but you're not going to hear it at home.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's good to have that handy.
I got to ask, circling back to Pete Abe, and we don't have to name names. Are there any other members of like traditional media where you kind of have like a beef, but it's not nearly as big or as publicized as Mr. Abe?
No, I mean there was one person that like it got back to me that they were kind of talking shit, but I just don't care. So like like stay mad, I guess. This person is nice to me when I see them, but they were, I guess, like talking shit to people that I was friends, like we had like mutual friends, and they were like saying stuff, but like I knew where it was coming from because I always compared that to like when we first got press passes in 2018. I think traditional media saw Section 10 and they were like, that's nice, that's a cute little thing that you have going on. Like we were basically North Korea. Like we were just stockpiling. Like we were building this audience, and they thought that like, we're taking away eyeballs from them and this and that. But once we got access, that's when we started building the nukes. They were like, well, now that they have the same weapons that we have, now this is a problem. So they didn't really care before, but once we had the press passes, they were like, fuck, like they got the nukes over there. This is not good. So
Pete Abe's like Strauss and Oppenheimer being like, how they get the nukes.
Yeah. So once we got the nukes, then I think that they started to sweat a little bit. But I've always maintained that there's plenty of space for everybody. Like I never said like now that we're here, like traditional media is going down the shit. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I think a lot of the stuff that we do is reacting to the quotes that traditional media gets. Like they go in. I don't go in the clubhouse. I don't go in the press box. I don't go in the media room. I just go on the field. I go on the field and I go in Josh Winkowski's dugout. That's it. Like I don't do shit else. So I think that there's room for everybody.
Yeah, that's
I
interesting.
have kind of a similar like in vain question. So, when you tweet, because you have these personal relationships with a lot of the players, but you're also kind of like the voice of the fans. Like how close do you come to like shit talking a guy who's just doing awful, but you don't want to like, you don't want to verbally abuse
burn
that
bridge.
Yeah. Like where's your line there as far as
still got to call it like you see it, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's why like I feel like Twitter's different. Like for example, Kike, right? Like we did the painting with Kike, the wine and paint night in spring training, and then he comes out and leads the majors in errors. And I was like, I'm not saying a fucking word. Like I'm not tweeting shit. But I think people understand. It's like, yeah, man, like that's his job. Like it's like, you know, there's journalism, and then I just view what we do as entertainment. And I mean, the Kike relationship was a valuable one. Like we had him on the show, and like that's a good guy to have in your corner, and vice versa. So I'm not gonna crush him, but kind of like I didn't take my own advice, because I think when I had like beef with like a lot of players before, it was because of how hard I used to crush Clay Buchholz. And back then,
the face, the Snapchat filter.
I was gonna say, like, you have a balance though. Like if you shit on a guy and then he starts performing well, like Claydro and Big Smooth, support.
Well, I was gonna say, I think with like support, you found a good way around it. It's like be so sarcastically supportive of a guy that's doing bad. That we all know you're shit talking that guy.
Yeah, of course.
But
and so did he,
because
that's been the biggest problem for me this year, is like the whole fucking support thing. It's like, all right, dude, what do you want me to say? Because you're awful, and I
by all accounts, a great guy. But
I'm sure I'd love to grab a beer with him. I'm sure I would. I'm sure it would be great.
But you are truly objectively awful. And if I say that you suck, you get upset. And if I say support this guy, he's not that bad, you get upset. Like, what do you want me to do? And with Kike, I was fine, because it's like, all right, like he came on the show, like, all right, we're good. Like I have his number. He follows me on Twitter. Like we're buds. So like you're protected. Caleb Ort, first of all, who the fuck
he's a made guy.
Yeah, like who the fuck are you? Like you are number 28 guy on the roster. And you're not good. You've never been good. So it's not even like I can revert back to numbers from your past being like, all right, just hang in there. Like we'll get vintage Ort sometimes. Like what does vintage Ort mean? That's a difference.
Ort legacy
like
game on deck.
Yeah. Like it's like this dude at no point in his big league career has been good. So it's like I did the support thing because I didn't want to crush him. And then the dude blocks me. So I'm like, all right, I put out a video, which I thought was funny. I'm like, you know what? You do suck. I'm just gonna say you suck. And you know what? It's like I keep saying this guy throws 100 as a point to defend him. Like your average fastball is actually like 94 this year, so you don't even throw 100. And that video is like tongue in cheek. It's meant to be funny, but when you're talking about like obviously these people like have big egos. The way that I boil it down, right, is I've had probably 5 run-ins with Red Sox players in my entire professional career. They've all but one of them, the one being Pablo, they're all relievers. And it's like they are already in their mind. You're a failed starter. Of course, you were a starter at some point. Like you're already a failure because
already got a
reliever.
chip.
Like and you're the lowest paid on the team. So I feel like the relievers, in a way, they've got to be the most sensitive bunch. So the Caleb Ort thing happens, and like he's talking shit, and like I think like his wife was talking shit. And I'm like, all right, this has gone too far. Like, this is a bit. Like, I don't have anything personal against you. It's a fucking bit. Like, if you don't like it, whatever. But like, just shut the fuck up. And Josh Winkowski got all bent out of shape about it. He was the one that started running his mouth the most. So I was like, how do we resolve this? Like, how do we have like a peaceful ending to this? Winkowski not interested in a peaceful ending to this. And I was like, all right, then you're dead to me. And I'm coming for you. I mean, like Caleb Ort's not even on the team. The most ironic part about it is that they're mad because I said Caleb Ort sucks. But then the Red Sox told Caleb Ort that he sucks.
Yeah, you were vindicated. He does.
They put him on the injured list for sucking. Not because he's hurt, because he sucks.
They did it more diplomatically, but yeah, that's the gist of it.
Yeah, we love the Phantom IL. Nothing
correct.
Better.
That's where he's at. Not hurt.
Wasn't Matt Strom in there too at one point?
Yeah, in the same fucking group. It's like former Red Sox relievers. They like band together, and like Matt Strom's whole thing was like, well, if you're in the big leagues, then like no, you can't suck.
That's
like,
right.
You know what I mean, dude? You suck.
My biggest pet
to other
peeve,
big leaguers.
Jared. My biggest pet peeve in the entire world is that sort of comment. Like, yeah, no shit. Yeah, you're part of this top 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% of people who have ever played.
Right.
No shit. Obviously, we are talking about in the context of Major League Baseball. Like, how dense do you have to be?
Right. And he got all bent out of shape out of it too. And the funny thing is, ever since he involved himself in the debate, he sucks too. Yeah, he's got like a 6.5 ERA since he opened his mouth. So yeah, there were, and the crazy part is like I'll get other dudes in the big leagues that will reach out privately and be like, dude, I'm on your side of this. Like they're being whiny babies. And I was like, all right, well then, a public defense would help in this situation, but none of them want to put a name to it. I'm like, all right, that's fine. But good to know that like, I'm not insane here. I'm like, all I said was that Caleb Ort sucks. And that started a civil war between me and the Red Sox bullpen. I was like, all right, like I'm still like, you don't have to like me, but when you pitch well, I'll give you credit. And when you don't, look the fuck out because I'm going to absolutely crush you. Like I don't like you as a person. So it is what it is. That's why like the 2018 Duck Boats thing, like that's a one and done because if this team ever won the World Series, they wouldn't have me anywhere fucking near it. It's all because I said Caleb Ort sucks.
Send you to Elba.
Who's your closest confidant on the 23 Sox?
I mean Cora.
Oh, okay. All right, him excluded.
That's
for players.
It's tough these days.
Like in terms of like who I talk to the most or who I think like likes me.
Oh, do you have a
Sure,
different
both.
answer for
Yeah,
that?
right.
both.
I'm
Let's do
intrigued
both.
now.
I mean, I
You
don't
got
really
a phony?
I don't really talk to Rafi them at all, but like he always comes up and says hi. He might be the only player now.
Well, he's your brother for life. He was on that
Right.
Duck Boat.
Yeah, like these other guys, they
There's
don't
that
know.
one video. He's
Yeah.
like, whoa!
yeah. The other guys, they don't know. They haven't tasted championship glory, but me and Rafi have. So we'll always have that together.
That's what I was thinking. Somebody like say like Chris Martin comes in. He's this older guy, been
Watch
around.
what you say, Jake.
No, I know. I know you love him, but the older guy been around. He comes in and he finds this bullpen in a war with you. Like,
They're always going to take the players are always going to take the other player's side 100 times out of 100. Yeah. Yeah, there was like a moment where like I was in the dugout and like he walked by and did like a double take, but like didn't stop, and then like he kept walking. Then he like said something to one of the other pitchers, and then like they both said something. I was like, they're definitely talking shit about me right now. Like it's just a really uncomfortable feeling, but it's like
high school.
yeah, it really is. But like at the end of the day, I don't care because I know that I'm right. Like you're mad because I said that your friend sucks. Like I get it, like whatever, band together and like the team, whatever. But like they don't realize I am also the team. Like I am also like I'm doing stuff with Nesson. I like when the Red Sox suck or the Red Sox are good. Who the fuck do you think gets a barrage of hate if the Red Sox are terrible? Who do you think gets it more, me or the fucking players? Me, because I'm more reachable to them. Like if the Red Sox like in 2011, thank God that Twitter wasn't as big as it was, but that collapse, who do you think is getting more harassment and torment from the internet? Is it fucking Jonathan Papelbon or is it me?
Well, at least Papelbon's on Twitter to do it. Oh, if you're saying in 2011, yeah, right.
2011,
True. I didn't even put that together.
If it happened today.
Yeah, Hoodie Bichette season is going to have a field day if that happens.
Well, I'm thinking maybe it's a good thing the bullpen hates you. I mean, this is like the best pen they've had in like a decade plus.
That's what I'm saying.
So maybe,
well, Kenley likes me. Kenley
likes
me.
them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Kenley likes me. I think
one.
he kind of that's one. That's probably it. Yeah.
Jolie maybe.
He says hi when he walks by. Bernardino says hi when he walks by. Yeah.
We love Bernie. We love Bernie here.
Bern.
He's super
Bernardino
nice.
brand.
Bernardino is very nice. Yeah.
Ever since I bestowed the Triple B brand to him, he's kind of been. I'm not going to revoke it just yet. I can't I can't go out and say that he's got the Triple B brand and then immediately give it away. Like I got to give it some time. Like it's me kind of making my own.
You're talking
bed
big ballers right now.
That was my thing with Brazier. It was the Big Brazier brand. That was, for years I called him. It was the Big Brazier brand. Then Brazier does Brazier things. He's gone. And Bernardino steps up this year. Like you're
in the National League.
That's right.
Sure.
Don't get me started with that. It's, good for you, man.
Trevor Hoffman Award coming up.
Yeah.
I know, right? I'm curious, Jared.
Joe, do you have a time limit or anything that we're keeping you or?
Nah, I'm just gonna
All right.
watch fucking. My new thing is short film horror movies.
Oh,
Yeah, I found one like the other night on YouTube, and now I'm addicted to them. There's a million of them, and I was like,
like
everyone.
fan made stuff or like?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like they're all like
Yeah.
well produced and filmed and everything, but they're anywhere from like 8 minutes to like 22 minutes, and they're just like short film horror movies. They're
Well,
cool.
that kind of
Oh.
branches off into what I was going to ask. Like your daily, you've done this line of work for a long time. I was going to ask you about your daily routine, basically in the season, in out of the season too, but mainly in the season. But branching off of that, just like the side stuff when you're not watching and following and talking about baseball. Like what are you doing to pass the time that way? Because
That
it
doesn't
seems like it's
exist.
a lot.
Yeah, I was
doesn't
gonna say,
exist.
is that
That doesn't
even real?
exist. Yeah, I mean, I do Baseball is Dead 3 times a week. I do Name Redacted at the end of every series. I do the Nesson Show. I do MLB Network stuff. I do the Sports Hub is every Wednesday night. I have to go to the DraftKings office every Tuesday. If the Red Sox are home, I go to Fenway on Tuesdays, and if they're home, I go to Fenway Friday and sometimes Saturday, and then Sunday is usually always a record day. So it's 7 days a week, and like there's really like my time off, like I'll work out. Like I like built like a gym in my basement because I wouldn't have time to fucking drive to the
It's
gym.
beautiful.
It's
I saw
sick.
the pictures of it.
Yeah, it's sick. So I like it's all set up, and like I'll go down there, work out, and like again, like I put 3 TVs in the gym because like if all I have is between 7 and 8 to work out, then like I'll go in there and like I'll at least be like watching the game, so I'm not losing whatever. And like I tweet, everyone's like talking about the shower video of the TV in the bathroom, and like a bunch of people are like. Bunch of people are like, what? That's so unnecessary. Yeah, for you, motherfucker. Like if all I have is between 7 and 8 to shower so that I don't smell like shit because I was working all day and like I wanted to squeeze in a workout. It's like, yeah, I want to shower and we have to do a podcast after the game. I don't want to shower at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm showering during the game, but I'm not missing the game. Like, yeah, it serves no purpose to you, but it does to me.
I DM'd you on Instagram when it was your story, and you were like, you got back and you were like, I object.
Yeah, what did you say?
I was like, sir, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, see?
How
But
many
there are people
screens
that
is
were
that? Like,
legitimately
I'd love to have a TV in the
Do you
I mean,
not
this,
have-
this
Yeah.
setup
I'd
you
spend all
have
day
with
in
the
there.
couch is a dream. I gotta
There's
say.
9
Yeah.
TVs. Yeah.
Do you not have like a splitting headache at the end of each day just looking at the screens? I would imagine like that blue light is crazy. There,
Yeah, no. I mean, I got my blue light glasses right here.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Fucking guys,
Answering the own. There you go.
Look at that.
Look at those. Yeah, they've got fingerprints on them, but yeah,
So-
blue light glasses. Yeah, it's crazy, like because a lot of the other stuff, like the Nesson stuff, is like whenever they book it, and like MLB Network is whenever they book it, and like there's travel. Like even I think like in July we did Phoenix for a week. Then I went to the Cape to film something for Nesson. Then I went to Chicago for DraftKings, and then I went to Seattle for the All-Star game. It's like I was gone all month, and like when I'm in Phoenix for the MLB Combine, I'm staying on East Coast time because that's where like the people that I record the podcast with are on the East Coast. So like I'm waking up at 5 to do the podcast, then I go to the field to do the MLB Network stuff, and then I'm in bed by 8 o'clock because that's like 11 on the East Coast. So it's a fucking grind. Like nothing drives me crazier. Like so like if I'm like seeing a girl, right, and she's introducing me to her friends, and they're like, so what do you do? And it's like I talk about sports. And like that's it. That's a job. And I'm like, oh, I could fucking kill you right now. Like that. Yes, it's a job, and it's very demanding, and it's very exhausting. And by the end of the season, I'm just dead. I'm a dead body. There's definitely periods throughout the entire season where I'm just like, I can't go on.
If you've got a regular Tuesday evening, Sox game is at 7. So take us through it. You sit down, and then do you have like, because you're unbiased, as we know.
Uh-huh. Correct.
How much do you feel you have to tweet about the other games going on? Like, is it a courtesy thing? Like, I'll throw a Braves tweet out there, or like,
Yeah,
what's your
nice play by Arias down in Miami, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Golf clap.
You kind of every year. I kind of like. It's kind of like being a dog sniffing another dog's ass. Like I need to know what plays.
All right.
Like
Oh,
I
yeah,
know,
okay.
like I know, like if I throw, like I love Christian Walker, right? Like D-backs, like right, like I love his
Orioles
swing.
legend.
Yeah, if I tweet out Christian Walker home run, like no one's biting on that. Like it's just not, it's not gonna do well. But like it's
You
good
need the
to know for the
clicks.
podcast. Like
Need
I
the
can talk
clicks.
about him. Yeah, like I can talk about it on the podcast the next day or whatever. But like I need to know like what teams have the most juice, and I need to know what players have the most juice. So like you spend the first half figuring that out, and then you spend the second half just playing the hits. So
Play the hits.
play the hits.
People
That's it.
people
It's a
love
good
him.
strategy.
Yeah, got to play the hits.
Going forward, are there any other projects with DraftKings that like you could even like tease a little bit? Like what's the future looking like? How do you build on this? What's next?
Yeah, I mean, probably more stuff with Poppy, but I think
No one
now,
objects.
yeah,
No one objects to that.
there's a kid, and I say kid, he's like in his mid-20s. His name's Jeremy, and he does awesome work, like video stuff, but he's got a job, so it's like I'm trying to like I think the way that social media is going now is obviously more video, which fuck me, like I got my Twitter is my biggest platform, and it's because of like one-liners and shit. So
Sorry,
like,
I think you mean X.
X, yeah,
Dead naming it.
Yeah.
yes,
Right.
but like TikTok and Instagram, like the video
It's
platform.
scary. I get scared over there.
Yeah, and
Stage fright.
I think what I want to do is kind of like figure out a way to make more video content, because at the end of the day, like you're trying to grow up your socials is to filter them back into your podcast. Like that's the job. Like you want, like the more listeners you have, the more ad revenue that you have, and the more secure you are in your job. So like having followers is great, but if you're not converting them to like what you need them to be for you, your audience, then it doesn't work. So I feel like a lot of podcasts have crushed it when they've gotten big on TikTok, and I'm just not a presence on TikTok. And I also feel like baseball TikTok is the Wild West. Like some of the content out there is ass.
It is. It
It's
really
ass.
is.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
they're lucky that I'm so goddamn lazy, but we're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna start taking over some territories on baseball TikTok.
We got to recruit Jake's girlfriend onto that. We got to get Sophie on that case, Jake.
I suck at editing. Yeah.
I want to learn so bad. I'm lazy.
It's
I-
hard,
I
dude.
should learn.
Like-
I
Can you
should
do like
learn.
Adobe Suite stuff, Jared? Or are you
No.
no? Okay.
No, like
I mean, the most we do over here is like CapCut every now and again.
Yeah, you can do some cap
Yeah.
cut.
Yeah, I have this program called Camtasia, which is basically like screen
Ooh, that
recording and like
sounds exotic.
yeah. So it's
Yeah,
like it's a
Camtasia
little
sounds like it's 18
That sounds like
plus.
somebody
That's-
Pablo Sandoval's liking in the middle.
yeah, that's basically what it is. It's like iMovie, but it has the ability to screen record,
Okay.
and that's what I was like. If you look at my TikTok now, any of like the repurposed Barstool content that I've done, like I cut those up with Camtasia, so like I can take like a YouTube video that someone else did a really nice job on, and I can cut it up for TikTok, but it's a lot of fucking work. So yeah,
I saw that you're allowed to talk to the Barstool guys again, Jared. That's exciting.
Yes.
You
Yes.
were-
The Berlin Wall is down.
yeah, you're off the list.
Yeah. I was shocked at how fast I was allowed to just be back in the mix.
Are you allowed to talk about that? Like,
Mhm.
be or yeah?
Yeah.
So like what like? Well, first off, how did they tell you could talk to them? Like, was it just like, hey, we could speak now?
I was
Didn't you just find out like on Twitter?
Yeah, I found out like everyone else. I think like a lot of people at Barstool found out like everyone else.
So it was Penn mandating that you couldn't chat.
Basically, I mean, like I think it was Penn, but it was Dave. Yeah. Being like
Oh.
he's at a competitor and yada yada.
Okay,
But yeah, I was in the Red Sox dugout, and I was just sitting there and saw Dave's video, and I was like, what the fuck? Like I watched it on the top step of the Red Sox dugout, just like leaning over the railing, watching Dave talking about how he bought back Barstool. And within 10 minutes, I get a call from Kirk Minahan. And I'm like, what's up, Kirk? Like anytime that he calls me, like I never know. I was like 9 times out of 10, like he's calling me to put me on his show. So like I like, did something happen? Like, did you fuck up? Like, is there something going on? So I didn't know what to expect. So I answer him like, what's up, Kirk? And he's like, you're back in. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I saw the news. I called Portnoy. I asked him if it was okay if you could come on the show. And he said, we're good to go. And I was like, okay, like what the fuck? I was very shocked to hear that. He's like, when can you come on? And I was like, I am pretty much booked for the rest of the month. Like his show
I
came
got
out
pot
today.
on Lansdowne on
Yeah.
Monday.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Him to the punch there.
Yeah, he put out a show today, and he was mad that I went on like a couple of Barstool shows, but I mean he deep down knows.
Shit, the
The
Minna
wall,
fans
yeah.
are gonna yell at us because we got
Probably.
crowds for shit.
Yeah, they're
Got
gonna
him
play.
first.
They're definitely gonna play a cut of this on Kirk's show, yeah, for sure.
No.
But
Hi guys.
if I'm gonna do Kirk's show, I want to do it right, and that means being there in studio, which is in Watertown. So it probably takes a good 45 minutes to get there, and then the show is 2 hours, and then it's a whatever. Sometimes, depending on what time we're done, hitting traffic, it could be an hour drive back. Like that, it's a big chunk of time out of a weekday to be able to do that. And I mean, Monday through Thursday is almost borderline impossible. And then on a Friday, if the Red Sox are home, which they were that Friday, this past Friday, it's like, well, then I got to go to Fenway. So I didn't have the time to do it, and I called into. We did like a Skype call with Robbie's show that morning. I did like 30 minutes. I was like, I can do 30 minutes from home, but I can't do like an hour and 45 round trip plus 2 hour podcast. Like I don't have that kind of time. But we're going to figure something out. I'm going to get back on as soon as possible because I miss doing that show. Like, and I said to him, which he said on his show today, I was like, when I would go places, I wouldn't always, it was probably like 15% would say like miss you at Barstool, but the vast majority was like miss you on Kirk's show. Like it was always like, miss you on Kirk's show. So I'm going to get back there as soon as possible.
They're gonna rip a piece of this, and it's gonna be the Mr. Cheddar 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Jared going, oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Hell,
What the fuck is this show?
Nodding politely about Mr. Cheddar.
Mr.
Jared.
Cheddar.
Can we? I mean, I feel like we should probably at least give a little touch. Where are you on the Sox right now?
I was gonna ask.
What's your outlook here?
Are we a wild card team?
Are we back?
I wouldn't say we're back. I wouldn't
But
say
it-
we're
but it's
back.
not
It's over.
It's not
It's
over.
not over.
I tweeted out the death certificate, but that was.
I mean,
like,
I do that every day, so it's fine.
yeah, like it's not officially over until you say console. And yeah, I tweeted out the death certificate because that was a big series to just lay a big giant egg in.
But we're right back
Um,
where we're 3 out again.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
The Jays are not good. They don't move me.
No, I tweeted out the ALE standings since the end of June, and
I
the Red
saw
Sox
that.
have a better record than Toronto. Yeah, it's like it's you and Baltimore basically.
Well, surely the Yankees with that payroll too have to be up there, I would imagine.
Yeah, see, the unfortunate thing about that is that they're actually dead last.
Mm.
Yep. Pretty
Yes.
crazy.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Who
I
else
would like
is
to think that they're a playoff team. I just don't I don't know. I can't I've been so flip-floppy this year. Going from spring training, this is a playoff team. Like what we're about to see, the Red Sox are going to be fun this year. It's going to be a good team. And that's not to say that it hasn't been fun, but there's also been a lot of miserable moments throughout the course of this year.
It really has been real, pits and peaks.
Every other
like,
week.
Up and down. Yeah, that's why. What was it? They lost the series in Oakland, and Bayo got knocked around. And I just remember tweeting like, I don't even fucking.
They swept 2 games, but then they
Right
swept
after the great
Braves.
Pavetta game too, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Pavetta came out of the bullpen, struck out 13 dudes, and then they lost the series. And I was like, I don't even fucking care anymore. Like this, because I know that they're gonna win 6 straight next week. Like I don't care. Like I know that that's coming. Like you have your peaks and valleys, and it's none of them last long. Like the peaks don't last long, the valleys don't last long. Like if you don't like how it's going, just wait a little bit and it'll switch up.
It's like the weather,
It is like the weather in New England.
Wait, wait 5 minutes.
Are you?
Wait 5 minutes.
I forget. Are you a member of the Bluminati? Where
I
are you on
like
Heim?
Heim as a guy, but I don't think all due respect to Heim, I'm not one of like the Heim walks on water guys. Like there's definitely.
Are you a Heim hater though?
No.
Okay,
No.
so you're
Heim
a-
centrist.
You're in the middle.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm not a let Heim cook guy. I'm a when is Heim gonna cook guy.
Are you giving him 2024?
Yeah, just because of the core that I'm giving him this winter. Yeah,
That's correct.
Yeah, I said at the podcast that we did after the trade deadline, I did a huge flip out rant about why the fuck is James Paxton still here, and because if you're going to call the Red Sox an underdog, the very definition of an underdog is a team that you don't think can win. So if they are an underdog, then why is James Paxton still here? That was like a whole like rant that I went on, but I said this offseason is make or break. Like this deadline could not have been make or break because it's not like when they were talking about trading for Justin Verlander. It's like who the fuck? Like why would the Red Sox need to trade for Justin Verlander?
Yeah,
like, you're going to go over the luxury tax again on a rental that in a year where you're not ready to go for it. That would have been the dumbest thing ever. Like the Astro fans would have been like, yeah, woo, we got Verlander back. That's exciting because the position that team is in. The Red Sox are not in a position to where they're 1-2 like trades away to really go for it.
Right.
But I like where the core is. Like you have 33% of your lineup is like locked in. Like you've got guys where it's like, I know I can count on this guy here, that guy there. And you're starting to see it trying to kind of shape up with the rotation. Maybe Garrett Whitlock's role finally back in the bullpen. Like we know, like enough with we need to see what we got. Like we don't know what we got.
Yeah, I'm all square with Whitlock in the rotation. Seeing him pitch, yes, I guess it was yesterday, right? Yeah.
No, Sunday?
Did he pitch Saturday? Yeah. Sunday, and seeing him come in relief, and he just looked like 21 Whitlock again. I was like, yeah,
throwing 97.
Yeah, I'm all good, man.
Yeah, like I this year was fine for the see what you got stuff. Like Jarren Duran, see what you got. All right, you got a guy.
Got something.
Tristan Casas, see what you got. Can he do it for a full year at the big league level? Well, he's doing it now. Like we know what we got. Same thing with I guess like Connor Wong to an extent. Brian Bayo. Like you know, those years where you just see what you have in young players, you need those years. But I'm not willing to allot more than one more year. Like now I need this offseason to be the fuck you.
Well, I'm not even allotting. I don't think I'm even allotting next. Like I need the playoffs next year. If it's playoffs or he's gone, I think next season.
Yes.
I'd say so. Because I mean, all those guys you just mentioned, like they're still gonna. I mean, they're still here. Durant's still under team control for a long time. Obviously, Casas, Yoshida, you name it. Devers just locked up. So many of those guys are still going to be locked in.
Jared, have you been doing your reading on Yamamoto?
Yes, I'm all in.
Yeah, okay,
give him whatever he wants.
Jake's leading that show.
I'm preaching it every episode.
That's the move.
Yeah,
that's it.
That literally is my number one. Where, because I don't, there's plenty of like Nola and Giolito. Like there's guys out there where it's like, yeah, I guess that'd be nice. That'd be nice. But like, what's getting me fucking rock hard? Yamamoto. Yeah. Like that's.
I'm getting out of bed for Yamamoto.
10 times out of 10.
The position player free agency class is fucking grim. There's nothing there. I mean, it's
the best is like Matt Chapman.
It's Ohtani, Chapman, and then it's like Rhys Hoskins is probably.
It's funny to call it grim when the very top is.
Well, I mean,
Ohtani,
the very top.
Yeah, the rest of the context, of course, it's just that's just funny. But
also, like I've said this take publicly, but people look at me like I have 9 heads when I say it. I don't want Shohei Ohtani. First of all, the Red Sox are not signing Shohei Ohtani. Like they're probably
not going to happen.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Not even going to be in the conversation. But let's just say that they were even rumored to be in the conversation. I wouldn't want them to do it. I want that. Like I just want to enjoy him from afar because it's going to take. It's going to take. Like we're going to fuck it up. It's not even that. Like it's not even like a lack of faith in the Red Sox organization. Like we're not the Mets. We don't break people when they come here. But I do think. Over the life of a 10-year deal, you're going to be known as the organization that has to tell Shohei to choose. Like when he gets into his mid to late 30s, he's not going to be able to do both. And you're going to have to be the organization that's like, fuck the Red Sox, man. Like you broke Shohei. Like I don't want all that. I don't want that. Like whoever signs him, that's going to happen to them. And the Angels got his best years. And it's like, all right, he may have 5 really like out of this world more seasons, best case scenario. But
I really
after
like
that,
those 5 seasons. I'll sign that deal with the devil. I'll 100% do that. Again, it's a moot point. It's not going to happen. You're right. I think
He's never
he's
won a playoff game. He's never won a
true.
playoff game.
It makes you
true.
think.
Makes you think.
I just
yeah.
don't. I don't want to like that half decade of the back end of that deal for whoever is paying him $60 million a year. To just watch that happen. I mean, it sounds like perfect angels. Like I'm almost thinking like, oh, he'll re-sign there. Like that. They love shit like that.
God, I hate that franchise.
Yeah.
That's
Your
fucking
vendetta
hate 'em.
against them continues.
Fucking hate him. What a waste.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, dude, like this hour 20 going. This has been fantastic.
I've
Do
been
you
waiting.
guys have any other major questions?
No, wild card was my final question, and we just covered all that. So
I mean, I bet on it. That was my first legal bet was Red Sox to make the playoffs.
Mine was some stupid fucking March Madness game I lost money on.
God damn.
Let's just say you're not even a college basketball
Not
guy
a
in the
lot. I
first
think I
place.
lost like $25, but it turned me off. I was like,
It's a lot to me, damn it.
I suck at this. Yeah. All right. Well, how's this? What is your perfect off season into 24?
Ooh. I mean, it's definitely Yamamoto.
Mhm.
I would like to shore up second base, and I think Whit Merrifield would be a nice fit there.
All-star.
Pablo
Whit
Reyes
Merrifield.
is right in front of us.
Pablo Reyes is right in front of us. I think Whit Merrifield would be a nice addition to the 2024 Boston Red Sox.
Is he a free agent?
He is.
You think they would do that though? Then you're blocking.
I mean,
Meyer
he's
for
what
a
mid
while.
30s already though.
Yeah. I mean, even if it was like a short deal.
Yeah,
For some
I
depth.
wanted
1-2
Brandon
years.
Drury. I wanted Brandon Drury. bad.
Brandon Drury.
Yeah.
Aaron's
well,
the judge.
I wanted to trade for him before the Angels were like, we're gonna buy and go 0-10. But
He was
I thought that
special
would've
at
been a
Great
good
American
fit.
last year.
That would've
He
been a good
was
fit.
special. It was. My
Yeah,
fantasy
I mean-
team enjoyed him when he was at that
all right, so
hitter's
second
paradise.
base. What do you think
Second.
happens with Verdugo?
I don't think that he's here.
Yeah, I don't think either. That's a
I
loaded
wouldn't be
question, I
surprised
guess.
if like a Sadan Rafaela was the starting
Yeah.
right fielder next year, or at least
Let him
like
cook.
like give him a shot. I think at this point, for all the talk about this dude can't hit, he's hit at every level that he's been at.
He
I
can't
could see him
walk,
going that route.
but we'll
that's
see.
that's about it.
Comes with
That's
time.
about it.
Yeah.
He's got everything else.
Yeah, he's gonna hit like 330 with like a 335 on base percentage.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Which
Give him
is
a cup
fine.
of coffee in September. You know?
Yeah, could
At
do
least
it.
let him get his feet wet.
Yeah,
Duvall's
I mean
starting
his,
to hit
his
too, though,
brother
so-
has tweeted that he's getting called up like every single day, like over the last
Yes.
3 months.
Every-
I
He'll be
unfollowed
right
him.
at
I
some
couldn't
point.
take it anymore.
So funny.
Just the little clock emoji he would tweet every 48 hours.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Jared, I do have one final question to ask that I had
Sure.
forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
When during the winter meetings,
Mm-hmm.
what happened with the Xander stuff? Where'd you go wrong there? I
I didn't go
take us
wrong.
through it. Well, you didn't. I mean, you were tweeting a lot of gifs.
Yeah, well, I think I tweeted them in my video. Like I think I took screenshots of the text messages that I got. So it was just, I mean, I can't say who it was that was saying what,
Obviously,
but
yeah.
trust me when I tell you that these were credible people that were saying things as bluntly as they're gonna do it. Like it's a matter of when, like, you know, it could be tonight, it could be tomorrow, but it's getting done. And these are very, 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 very credible people that were.
So
telling
does it
me
really
this.
just seem like Preller came in like coked out of
Yes.
his mind and was just like,
Yes.
here's 275 million.
Yeah. So
That
like,
tracks with Preller.
more or
Yeah.
less, like from what I heard, like the Padres owner is just like, I don't know how much long I have to live, and I want
I
to win
respect
multiple
that so
championships.
much. That was like the 11, 12, 13 Tigers with
Yeah,
what's
Village,
just
yeah.
spend my money. Yeah, I don't care.
that's
Pizza Hut
basically what it is.
or Little
is
Little Caesars, excuse me.
Little Caesars.
he was spending recklessly because it's like I can sign this dude to an 11-year deal, and when it really goes bad, not my fucking problem.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna be here one way or the
Dead.
other.
One bit, I'm
Yeah.
6 feet
If
under.
it works,
Right.
I'll be like with the Yankees or the Cubs or the Red Sox. You know what I mean? And if it doesn't work, well then I'm out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not
See you
gonna
later.
be there for year 7
Yeah.
in San Diego. One way or the other.
I'll be in my casket with my 3 World Series rings that I got from the first 5 years of that deal.
Right.
That sounds like that's the plan. But yeah,
It's not going
whatever
well.
video I tweeted out, I remember because people were getting on me like it was like you got no sources and blah blah blah. Like I took screenshots of the text messages that I was getting, and I put them, covered up the names, but put the text messages of what I was getting about Xander. And the Padres just I call them the fucking Kool-Aid man. Like they just crashed through the wall. They're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, and like they just signed him. That was it.
Here's-
Like
here's
they
11
thought
years.
it was a done deal. Like they felt pretty. And there are people that can walk that back and say whatever the fuck they want, but they're just trying to save face. Like that was.
Do you have any semblance of an idea of what the Sox were offering?
I did at the time. I don't remember now.
I'm just curious how
Something's
far.
funny back
Yeah,
there.
what's
I
going
was
I was gonna say
on?
that's gotta be Sophie, right?
I'm just curious because the 11. When that tweet, I think it was Rosenthal who dropped the bomb.
Yeah.
I read it like several times. Not that it was
Yeah.
the Padres, not the money, but the fact that he
The
got the
11
longest
years.
11 years is fucking
deal
insane.
of the offseason. I
Was
like,
it a typo and it was just a short-term contract?
Yeah,
No,
I was like,
that's
what
11.
the
It's
fuck
insane.
is that?
It was insane. Like I was so caught off guard. Like I remember like fucking I don't want to like reveal too much, but like people were calling me after that came out being like, "Bro, what the fuck is that?" Like players in the league being like, "What?" Like not even with the Red Sox. Like yes, like people with the Red Sox, but like also other teams like being like, what the fuck is that deal? 11 years. And I had no answer for him in the immediate. Like, I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Because to me, it was, I don't want to say it was a done deal, but like if I went and let me see if I can pull it up right now, just based on keywords in my text messages.
Oh.
This is
Yeah,
great
I-
audio.
No, well, I'll just say that that the deal was so insane that it made Sox
Okay.
fans that
Wednesday,
yeah, Jared, here you go.
Wednesday, December 7th, 3:29 p.m. Deal tonight or tomorrow. They're paying him. Going to Arizona now. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like, that's
Well, then
not-
remember there was that fucking kid that saw him at the basketball game or something, and they were
Yeah.
like, "Hey, are you come back to Boston?" And he just goes, "No,"
No.
Oh, that's right.
and he took a
I
picture.
forgot
of it.
about that.
Yeah.
And Heim
I
needed
gotta-
a minute, then he needed a second minute when he heard.
Yeah,
I mean, I just can't believe you would trust Tyler like that, Jared.
That's true. Yeah. I gotta find that video because there was another. It can't be that hard to find. It's the one where I have like the 5 cigarettes in my mouth.
That's
That's right.
Well, it's got to be
Yeah.
that day, right? Just search that day in your camera roll.
Yeah. I
It
think.
was it's December.
It was December
like a-
10th, I think.
I was gonna say it was
did.
like 2 weeks before Christmas or so.
Yeah.
December 7th.
That was the initial reaction one, and I think the Harry Potter one. I had to like put out a video being like, "Leave me alone! I'm just trying to watch Harry Potter," because everyone was getting on me for. Actually, I can like play it right now.
Wednesday, and even had that sense on Tuesday. There was no feeling within the organization that they had made any progress, even though reports were publicly flying saying so. Steve quote tweets it and says, "Who the hell lied about Bogey all day Wednesday? I need names." People are tagging me in this. Me? I didn't. What did I do?
A
The
moment
only
in
thing that I
time.
did was say, "I'm not going to Heyman myself, but I feel pretty good right now." That was around like 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
That was after the Sean McAdams.
I'm not gonna
tweet.
boob myself.
One Red
here.
Sox person asked by someone today whether the Sox would re-sign Bogarts answered without
Oh, keep watching.
hesitation, yes. I was hearing similar things. I did
Deal
not tweet
tonight or
those things.
tomorrow,
I did
they're
not say
paying
sources. I did not say breaking. I was not trying to be a reporter. I was catching all kinds of flack last night. Oh, you don't have sources and you're a fake. I didn't report anything. I just said I felt good. That's it. That's the only thing I said about it. I said I felt good. Next.
That's it.
Had
That's
a
it.
dream. That's all.
I didn't even say that. All I said was, hey, I feel good about it. I didn't put out like, just got a text that said they're paying him tonight or tomorrow. They're paying him. I didn't say that. But like people treated me like I fucking reported that he was coming back. I don't know where that started or how that became a thing. But originally, the only thing that I put out there was that I feel good about it. That was it. And people just fucking attacked.
Clear in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we know.
That was. Yeah.
A moment of time there.
Yeah.
Well, again, man, an hour and a half conversation.
Can you believe it?
I mean, this could just be the whole episode. We don't have to talk about this past week of Red Sox baseball. We can just post
Anything.
this.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to talk about with the Red Sox right now. It's like it's not much of a gauntlet that they've been on in recent days.
That's about.
They're
about
good
true.
in the
No
gauntlets, though. That's when they win.
They are.
They beat the good teams.
They do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they wiped their
That's
ass.
why I
to the
think
Atlanta
September.
Braves.
Everybody's looking at September the wrong way. They got it all wrong. That they're gonna go 20.
This is
and
when they get
5,
hot.
Iron
whatever it
sharpens
is.
iron type of deal.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yep. They got 7
not.
against Houston. They got the Dodgers coming in. Yeah, fuck them.
I was wondering, you guys. So how do you guys think they'll lay out the tribute videos in the Dodgers series? Because they've got 4. They got to hit.
5.
Bra-
Wait, who's the 5th?
Kike,
Yeah.
JD,
Brazier,
Yeah,
JD.
Brazier,
Mookie.
Mookie,
Mookie and Joe Kelly.
Oh, well, he's been back though, hasn't he?
Yes, but he also just got put on the injured list too, so he probably won't
Oh,
even be
all
there.
right, so he's out.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mookie
like, you
gets
think-
his own.
So does JD. He won. They both
Yeah,
won, right?
JD.
I
gets
think
his
they're
own.
gonna just do it 1 inning at a time. Like they've got 5
Yeah, I could
videos.
see
that they're
that.
gonna
Well, you don't. I mean, like, what's Brazier just get the camera on his face? He doesn't have a video. Well,
Yeah.
he won a ring too, though. So I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
You're going to see the Gary Sanchez highlight. You'll see the reaction in DC in 21, and that'll be it.
That'll do.
All right.
And then the organ will keep, but you
There you
give a
go.
nice little ditty like. "Doo,
That's
doo,
it.
doo, doo."
What order you guys think they do him in? Got Mookie,
Great.
JD, Brazier.
No,
Do you think they build up?
last. Build up.
Oh,
to
that's
Mookie.
good too. Yeah. No, I don't actually.
No one's gonna have any energy for Brazier at the end. Then
Brazier,
He's gonna get
Brazier's
all-
going to be like
Two
it's going to be like
claps.
Cal.
No one's
Yeah,
gonna
remember
have
them.
any energy for Brazier.
Brazier's
Well,
gonna,
Well, Kike
Brazier's gonna
just
run around the
left,
warning
so I
track.
feel like that's.
They got to do it. They're gonna do it.
I don't know. It's gonna be.
Well,
it's be
Mookie's
a hell
gonna
of a-
lead
hell
off.
of a
Mookie's
Friday.
gonna lead off, so he's gonna get
Oh,
a
that's
standing
true.
ovation.
Okay.
So I think coming off the standing ovation, they're probably gonna do like a video pass. I bet
Okay.
Mookie's first. Yeah,
That
All right,
makes
that's
sense.
smart.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna be
I
a hell
hope
of
to
a
have
Friday.
DraftKings has odds on whether or not I'm in the JD video.
Oh,
Really?
Parade?
I mean, if you got to play a video from the parade,
Gotta
Yeah,
get an
there's
inside
so much-
source on that.
there's only so much video that you could use. I'm not in it. I'm not up his ass.
Oh man, we'll see. We'll see on that. Jared, if people somehow don't know how to find you, but do want to find you, want to listen more, follow along on Twitter, where can they find you, man?
MySpace.com/Carabas13. That's where we're at. We're building it up. MySpace is back. Shout out Justin Timberlake. And
Does he still own
follow
it?
me. He must. I mean, who's gonna buy it?
I have just pulled up myspace.com/Carabas13. Little skinny Jared here in the profile picture.
Yeah, I think I'm
With,
gonna.
with the Red Sox lapel pin
Oh,
on
yeah.
the suit.
Oh,
Look at that.
I thought you were a suit
Photos.
guy.
We've got
that was like a wine tasting.
yeah.
I
Well,
think
you've
that-
got it looks like a suit but with a t-shirt under it.
Yeah, it's not like a V-neck T-shirt with
Yeah.
a collared shirt over that
Yeah.
and a suit jacket.
You should try to sign back in there and like make a post if you know. Like only.
I don't
Put
think you
on
can
Lansdowne
look at the
listeners.
photos. You can only see Have you been on here, Jared? It's pretty funny.
No.
You can only see the captions of the photos, at least on Chrome. I don't know, but so here's your top 5 photos. Noma with an
Noma.
exclamation point, Manny with a period,
I've heard of him. I'm aware.
and then Pedro with a period, and then the last 2 are Jacoby Ellsbury and myself, and Heidi Watney and myself.
Okay.
And those
That's
but
a-
I don't know what they look like. I can just see
Dream
the
blunt
caption.
rotation right there.
yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Jared, man, again, thank you so much for your time. We'd love to have you back on in the future because this
Yeah.
was a fantastic conversation, man.
We'll just
really
ask.
appreciate
Yeah.
it.
We'll just
Yeah.
ask.
Whenever, just ask. All you gotta do is ask.
If you ask Nomar to be on the pod, we'll ask you again to be on the pod.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Yeah.
Done deal. We should do an off-season episode where we go for like 3 hours and just talk about whatever. We don't even
right.
Oh, yeah.
have to talk about.
We didn't
baseball.
even hit conspiracy theories.
Oh well, that was the whole point of the show. It was gonna,
exactly.
we were going to
All
talk
right,
about
we'll
nothing
get
about
him back.
baseball.
Yeah.
That off season.
I'll have you guys at my house and we can you guys can watch the 9 TVs, then we can do a podcast in the living room.
We can have a
Beautiful.
different conspiracy program on all 9 TVs.
On all 9 TVs.
One is
We'll
like the
just
Knicks
sit there.
frozen envelope. One's
Yeah.
the moon landing. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's
And then
good.
we can do our top 9 conspiracy theories podcast.
I love it.
Perfect.
Thanks again, man.
All right.